Hello, my name is Lady Calmer. I welcome you to my circle. I'm doing my 335th presentation, and it will be on the Polynesian and Hawaiian goddess called Hina. Hina is the Hina I'm going to be talking about is the one that deals with the moon for the most part. And this is what the cards deal with her. She is also the goddess. You remember, have you ever heard of the tsunami that hit one of the islands of Hawaii called Hilo? It was said that it was her that was the tsunami that caused the devastation and destruction and the death toll. That's just to show you her power. Hina, to the people of Polynesians, I would say that some people can, yeah, they would be able to, they would be, she's progenitor of Hawaii, especially the people of Hawaii, because the Polynesian people are not just one people. They were not. There were many, and sometimes they warred against each other. Just to let you know, it wasn't all kumbaya. But the Hawaiian said that she is the progenitor, and Hina is assigned to many of the Polynesian deities, even Pele, and it's actually a name of a male deity as well. And he knows it deals with like something great or powerful. And in fact, one of the names of Pele has the name Hina in it. And if you're interested in Pele, please check out my presentation on her. Hina deals with the moon. She is not the moon. She is the lady who lives on the moon, or the lady of the moon. And Hina deals with the phases of the moon. As Hina Uri is the dark Hina, which is the darker phase of the moon, and the lighter phase of the moon is Hinatea, which is the fair or the light Hina. She, as the moon goddess of the moon, she's known as Ma Hina. She's also called Sina, Sina, as well as Sena, but most people will know her as Hina. She is depending honored and approach towards the east, as well as honored and approach towards the west. As when people pray to her as Hina, as Hinakua, they're going to pray to her as the east for the progenitor. She is the progenitors of those who have yet to be born, those who are not born yet, but have yet to be incarnated. When when prayers are directed towards the west, this is the Hina that is associated with the god Ku, Ku. And prayers are directed towards the west for those who have already, the progeny of the mother of those who are already born, those who are already incarnated on earth. Hina also rules over the procreative powers of all women, and she represents all our stages, our life stages, from a maiden, a girl, to someone who's having the menses, and to someone who's pregnant, and then dealing with postpartum issues, also the female hormonal issues, and all women's body parts, and all women's issues, and all diseases that affect women, or that issues that affect more women than it would men, like fibromyalgia seems to affect more women than men. And we women also come down with postpartum depression, which men do not get. And also there is a depression that when a woman goes through her menstruation. PMS means pre-menstruation. That's not when we menstruate. When people say, "Oh, a woman's menstruation, she's going through PMS." No, that means pre. Okay, menstrual syndrome. So we go through something right before we get our menstruation. We go through these changes, and then during it. So things that are going to affect women, surgeries that affect women, cancers that affect women, she is going to be dealing with that. So there is a Hina that deals with the leaves of seaweed, and there is where she is called Hina Lao Limu Kala, because Limu Kala means seaweed. So a kahuna, she's a patroness of a kahuna who uses remedies and medicines and using stuff like seaweed and using it for magic and stuff and spiritual practices. So she's going to be dealing with that as the wife of Kuula, who is a god, fishing god, a god of fishing, which some associate with the god Ku, or is a form of god, the god Ku. He's called Kuala, well, she's called Hina Pukaya. I'm sorry, Hina Pukaya. I want to say this Hina Pukaya as best as I can. So even as Hina Kapaikua is she is the goddess who makes the cloth out of bark to make kappa cloth or tapa cloth, depending on where you're from on the Polynesian areas. So, and here's the thing, here's the big thing about her. She's a pan Polynesian goddess, meaning she's recognized throughout Polynesia. She may not have the same stories, or she may have similar stories, but she is still Hina. They still see her. And when they look upon the moon, they see a woman with like this hairdress, and they see a woman. Like some people will see a rabbit, others will see a woman. She's beating the tapa cloth. Like in the Mayan, they see Ishel weaving, making textiles. Where here in the no, not here, in Hawaii and in the Polynesian areas, she's beating the bark. And when she beats the bark, it's sort of like the uh, life of how eventually we get old, we get sick, and we die, we pass away. That represents her power when she makes the bark. So it was Hina. So Hina, depending, is either the elder sister of Maui, the mother of Maui, or the wife of the god Maui, where we get one of the islands of Hawaii from. So she is a goddess who gave Maui the fishing net and ropes. She sacrificed some of her hair so that a rope can be made that had supernatural strength. And he with this net he's able to fish, and he was actually able to capture the sun. And that will be held for another story when one day eventually I get to it to talk about Maui. There is also how she's associated with the coconut tree. So there was once an eel. He was either called tuna or te tuna roa, depending on where you were at in the Polynesian peoples or the, the tribes or the areas. But it would say either she was a consort or she was his lover, and Maui got mad and jealous, and that he lopped off his head, and Hina buried him, and where she buried him, a coconut tree grew. Or was one day the eel tuna who kept he kept visiting her, and one day he was rubbing against her, and he brushed against her genitals, and Maui got angry at this act, and he was mad, and he fiercely attacked Tuna, cutting his body into itty bitty pieces, and drew his tail into the sea. And now he becomes the conger eel, and where other place pieces of his body parts landed in swamps, and this is where we have freshwater eels, and some pieces of him became the hagfish and the lamprey. But also, regardless, she buries, in some stories, she buries him, and that's where the coconut tree appears. Hina, her colors would be blue and silver. I heard that her name actually means blue or gray, like blues, all colors of blues. So silver and blue are good. She is a lunar goddess. So when the moon, if the moon appears during the day, you will see Hina there, and at night. But of course, we know that the moon is nocturnal. Hina is seen as very beautiful. How she got to the moon is from whatever area you're from. It could be whether it's Hawaii or even even in New Zealand and Tahiti. So, or in the area of the Polynesia, sometimes she is said to go to the moon because she was bored with the everyday life, and she just wanted adventure, and she wanted a different change. So, on a rainbow bridge that appeared, she took a canoe and she decided she wanted to go to the sun. And but when she finally got what she wanted and she finally got there, she realized it was too bright for her. She couldn't even keep her eyes open. And where the light touched her flesh, she started to burn. So she found it too hostile for her. So she took the road of the Rainbow Bridge and canoed to the moon, and which she was happy there. And she set up her life, her home, and where she could be seen as beating the tapa cloth or the kappa cloth. So if you look at the moon, some people see a rabbit, like in Maya, they'll see Ishel in the moon weaving her cloth and her textiles. And in Hawaii and Polynesian. She'll be there with her headdress, and she'll be there beating her tapa cloth or her kapa cloth, depending. And I don't know if I said this already because I'm restarting this video because of interruptions. So now things seem to be a lot calmer here. So we got Goddesses of the World with this Hina card by Relmi, Sasha, and Sylvia Damiano. And I just want to continue to do that. Sorry. Goddess Within Oracle by Christabel Jessica. Artworks by Cecilia G.F. and Danielle Jones. Healing with the Divine Feminine for this card. Last but not least is the Ascended Masters. So Yahina Freedom. Ascended Masters Oracle Cards Guidebook, Doreen Virtue PhD. So I do want to give credit where credit is due and look at the back of these cards. You can get them on Amazon, eBay, your local bookstore, New Age store, or a cult store. So check that out. See if they got these cards. They're well worth it. It's very beautiful. So Hina is, like I said, the patroness of fish. Anyone who's out catching fish for a living, she would be a goddess you could pray to. So there is also a story of one time she was married to a man named Irawaru, and during one of the many fishing trips, Irawaru kind of was teasing and picking on Maui and, messing around way too much, calling him names, who did not catch any large fish or any fish at all, depending, or nothing much. So Maui assaulted Iraru when they got off the boats. And Maui assaulted him so bad, beat him up so bad, relentlessly attacking him by breaking other bones, including his back. Then he was turned into a dog, which, and when Hina found out what Maui had done, she was inconsolable. She just broke down. She was crying and crying and crying till she couldn't take it anymore and threw herself into the sea. But she would not die. She could not die. And instead was carried across to the sacred isle, Motutapu. And this is when she was transformed into Hinauri, the darker mood of the goddess. And she was welcomed by the people of the sacred isle and was taken to the house of their chief and the god of all fish and all the fishes, becoming his new wives. But the other existing wives were jealous of her and start uh, spitting at her and calling her names and start assaulting her. But Hina is a goddess and she was a powerful goddess, so she used her magical goddess powers, and she eliminated all the wives. And so she became the only wife, the senior wife of Tini Rao. So is she approachable? Yes, but remember who she is. So even in Hawaiian mythology, she is referred to as multiple feminine deities. There's like the Hina of Hilo, as we talked about, who is there. She's also the wife of Akalana, and also known as the goddess of the moon, Hina on the moon. So she's also known as just the goddess of the moon, Mahina, which is even the word, from what I understand, Mahina is a word, one of the Hawaiian words for the moon. Is she still worshipped? Yes, she is. It has never stopped, and it's just been suppressed and hidden. Thank you, Christianity. No, I mean that to be uh, facetious. I don't really think Christianity for that. So even we see her in Easter Island as Hina Olo, a goddess of all the fish and animals of the sea. So her name has traveled far and wide. So let's look at freedom. But before I go to this card, there's also another story about how she became to the moon. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I don't have a script. And in my defense, I restart. I This is my third take of this, and my final take is I'm not restarting it. I'm just gonna publish as is. There's another story of where she was bored with life. She was unsatisfied. She was not satisfied. The children she had did not respect her or were not obedient children. They were very raucous kids. Her husband didn't pay attention to her, and when he did, he didn't treat her right. So stories say that she voluntarily went to the moon. She walked the rainbow bridge or took her canoe and sailed it, or on the rainbow bridge again with the rainbow, which Hina does deal with the rainbow, and she used that as her mode of transportation. And some stories where she went to the sun first and was not satisfied, and then she finally found something that's just right, which was the moon. And there's another story which is really sad, and this is a trigger warning because it does deal with domestic violence, is that Hina had a family. Her children were very naughty. They wouldn't listen to her. They were disobedient children. Her husband, when he did pay attention to her, he was mean, he was rotten, and there are times where he would lay his hands on her. She had enough because she was in awful depression. She was in an awful state. And one day she's going to travel, and she decided to travel up the moon. And as she was walking on the rainbow bridge that appeared to her, Her husband came running after her and started assaulting her and trying to bring her back and grabbed her ankle and twisted her ankle. And he almost won. She was so exhausted and so hurt, and her ankle hurt. She could barely walk, but she's a goddess and she remembered her strength, and she crawled from Earth to the moon. And when she got to the moon, she was safe, she was secure, and this is where she continues to beat her coppercloth, toppercloth. So, dealing with domestic violence, Hina had the resolve and the strength to get away from her husband. When we feel unsatisfactory of where we're at in our station of life, maybe a home we're no longer happy, maybe a state we're no longer happy, maybe we need to move, out of Florida, like I did, and go somewhere else. Maybe it's you're tired of maybe you're tired of all the cold and the snow and you want to move to Florida. So it's just being tired and feeling unsatisfactory. And sometimes we move from one state to another, or another one home to another, until we find one that's just right. Same thing with jobs. Maybe we're unhappy with the job we have. Maybe you're a waiter at, let's say, IHOP, and you're just tired of it. And then all of a sudden you get a job at a fancy restaurant and you're working there for a while. Maybe you're just not happy being a waitress. Maybe your real passion is to be a chef or to work, cooking food. Whether you become a sous chef or working the line, or actually becoming executive chef of your own restaurant. It just shows of moving from one area of life to another that you have passion for. And Hina can give you that passion. Hina can give you that resolve and that strength to make that change. And here we see freedom. We see freedom. And where is it? And this comes from, again, the Ascended Master deck. Oracle Cards Guidebook by Doreen Virtue, PhD. And I'll read a little bit of this to you. So, bear with me as I look for the card. I think it should be right here. Okay. Walk away from restrictions and be free. You have the power and the right to change your life so that you experience more freedom. As I'm going to interject, as I was telling you how she moved from Earth to the moon, how she moved from family life to being her sovereign self on the moon. This card signifies that your soul is crying out for more freedom, especially as it involves your life's purpose. Perhaps it's time to take a break so that you can think clearly about your desires and available options. The universe always supports the desire for expansion, creativity, and freedom. Say yes to freedom, and the universe will say yes to you. Additional meanings for this card: it's time to leave a situation that you've outgrown. Question the validity of any rules that you've imposed on yourself. Allow the universe to support you while you make desired life changes. Be assertive and say no to anyone who's overstepping boundaries with you. Again, this deals with freedom. And I will read a little bit about this card. This comes from The Goddesses of the World by Relmi, Sasha, and Sylvia Damiano. So, and as you can see, there's another Hina before I go on. Hina Nue Tepo, which is a different goddess, as you can see, way different. And that is dealing with the underworld, the Morai goddess of the night. But we're going to be dealing with this. Hina, follow your feminine power. The Polynesian moon goddess reminds you of their feminine power of intuition and reflection. Follow the cycles of the moon and the ebb and flow of emotions. Just as Hina's lunar energy governs the tides, let her guidance inspire you to honor the intuitive wisdom that resides within you. So when we think about the moon, well, I'm off the book now, she represents psychic powers and intuition. To for us, whether we're men or women, trans, it doesn't matter. To look within and find the power within. She's great to use when you're doing oracles or tarot. Now, this card, we don't want to forget about this card. And this comes from the Goddess Within Oracle by Christabel Jessica and artworks by Cecilia G.F. and Danielle Jones. I'm making a mess now drawing all this around. So please bear with me. And as I said before, Hina also deals with the color blue and silver and white. So white, blue, and silver is perfect for her altar. Hina, examine the moon's current phase and reflect on its effect on your life as you are also cyclic by nature. And it says Hawaiian lunar goddess Hina is said to reside within the moon. Originally, she lived on Earth, but grew tired of how her husband Maui, a trickster god, demigod, and her family treated her. According to Hawaiian legend, she packed up her belongings and left. Hina, also named the Lady in the Moon, was curious about what it was like on the moon and paddled out towards it on her magical canoe until she reached it. Once she arrived, she was struck by the moon's tranquil beauty and decided to stay, becoming a protector of those who traveled at night. Hina is also associated with communication, cycles, and feminine strength. So there's more to, the reading of the cards. I don't want to, spend my time reading all the books. That's not what I do on this channel. And again, I do like to give credit where credit is due and do explain the card if I use cards. I think that's only fair, right? So Hina, yes, she is nocturnal and she does protect people who travel at night as well. So whether you're traveling to work or to parties or to concerts, traveling to or from a concert like I do, my metal concerts, or maybe you're going bar hopping or going out on dates, she'll protect you. Ask her to protect you at night, but always, always use caution. An ounce of caution is better than a pound of cure. Remember that. Always, please remember that. So, all because you do a prayer of protection, you also have to be aware of your surroundings and where you're at. Oh, I thought I almost turned off my microphone. I have my window open. It's quite cool, chilly out here now. Can you hear the crickets? We have lots of nature where I'm at. So sometimes her physical portrait is she's very radiantly, very beautiful. She has long, beautiful, flowing hair that's adorned with feathers, that's adorned with flowers, that's also adorned with shells, and that her presence is very calming, very serene, very chill and not chilly, but chill and, to chillax. And that she has an aura of peace. I have worked with her. She's very beautiful. She has a very calming presence. She really does. She is very wise. She has very graceful movements. She's a nurturer. She's definitely a nurturing goddess. She's very kind. She is approachable, but she's also tied to water, to the ocean, to the ebb and flow of the ocean, just like the waxing and waning of the moon. So she is very maternal. She is a mother. She is also where she takes on her sovereign queen aspect of the moon. So Hina Ika Malama, or Hina of the moon. So you can call Hina of the moon or Hina Ika Malama. She is a goddess of transformations, and she can also bring out change within you or to help you change your circumstances. So she also has a connection with the coral reefs and the life on the coral reefs. So any endeavor to protect the coral reef, you would be wise to call upon this goddess to help you and to help these organizations and charities help uh, preserve the coral reefs, which a lot of them are being endangered. It says that Hina also deals with the cycles of life as well as the cycles of death. She is the goddess of harmony and the natural balance of the world. She is also a lady who is revered for her craftsmanship, her many skills in her craftsmanship. She's also a goddess that deals with healing. She is a healer. So she knows about healing. So I do want to bring that up, that she does deal with those powers. How long have I been talking? 38 minutes. Wow. Hina, what else do I want to talk about her? Hmm. This just goes shows I don't have notes or a script. Sometimes I just stump myself. Hina protects, though. She is a very powerful protectress. So if you're doing protection, I mean, deities, some of them are more protective than others. Hina deals with nature as well as creation. She deals with the natural world and also natural healing methods. You can go to your doctor and still ask Hina to help heal you. But I'm just saying she deals with the natural world and the natural remedies and the natural healing techniques. So, as a Hawaiian goddess, she does hold a very significant role when it comes to the natural world, nature, and creation, and natural resources, and dealing with all the environment. So, Hina is a goddess that I hope that you will learn more about and that you will explore on your own. But I think I've talked long enough about this goddess. And if you like my presentation, please subscribe to my YouTube channel as it helps me grow and give me a thumbs up. The money that you would have paid me for this lesson, please give to charities, especially charities that help women and children, and charities that protect and clean the ocean and protect the animals of the ocean from overfishing and from cruel, inhumane practices of some of these fishing for dolphins, and also the treatment that baby seals get when they're being hunted by poachers. So please think about giving to organizations that will protect these animals of the sea and deal with waters and the fish and the environment and protect the coral reefs. And also, if you want, if you don't have any money, that's fine. Uh, do a spell for me. Send protection, even if you see this presentation 10 years from now. So do a spell for me for protection, for money, for prosperity, to bring peace to my home, to make my cats, love each other instead of sometimes fighting with each other. These are the most. These guys are brats. This bunch of brats. I love them. I love every bit of them. But thank you for watching this video. I do these for free, and but as one time a teacher said, either my time or your dime. So if you learn on my time, it won't cost you a dime. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like my channel. And as always, blessed be.